everyone, Arissa here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited to say that I'll be speaking with Ellen Schwartz, founder of Jacob's Ladder and Project Give Back, for my series Mission Empower. So I'm not going to tell you too much about Ellen's incredibly heartwarming and amazing story. I'm going to let her do that. So yeah, I'm just going to bring her right into this room. Hi, Ellen. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so glad that you could join me today.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me.
So basically what I like to do for my series, Mission Empower, and I'll just tell you a little bit more about that as well. I find that in this world today, there are so many inspirations and so many wonderful people, and you're certainly one of them. And so what I'm trying to do is bring all of those stories together and create some platform for people to find inspiration and motivation and to be empowered and, to learn that even the smallest acts of kindness and really do make a difference. And I think that you're a perfect example of this. And so I'm so excited to chat with you today. So basically what I try and do is for all of our viewers who don't know your story already, I can share a few words about that, and then we can jump into some questions.
Okay, perfect. It's a big story. It's a long story, but basically, or in the elevator kind of pitch kind of way, I have 3 children, Jacob, Beverly, and Ben. And Jacob is forever 21, Bevy is 21, and Ben is 17. And I will talk today a little bit about Jacob, because he was born and everything was perfect. He was our firstborn. He was healthy. We thought our life was just starting. We were so excited. And we noticed very early on he wasn't making any of the milestones that all the books that we read said he was supposed to be doing. They said he should be lifting his head, and he never was able to do that. And they said his eyes should be tracking, and his eyes never followed us. And so very early on, we had him at Sick Kids, and he was diagnosed with a rare fatal neurodegenerative disease that attacks the central nervous system. So he wasn't able to walk or talk or see or breathe. He had reoccurring pneumonias, endless seizures. He lived a very difficult life, but a very beautiful life. We had him, thank goodness, for 21 years, and we were told we wouldn't have him till 5. And so his life was a real gift, and he taught us so many powerful messages along the way about love and compassion and kindness and acceptance and resilience. And basically all I do is try to share his messages and spread his messages. Even now that he's not with us, I still do that to this day. When he was here, I did live for him. And now that he's not here, I will forever live with him in a different way. So that's, in a nutshell, that's kind of our story.
Yeah. And I mean, I have the pleasure to, I've heard Ellen's story, your story before, and, I've learned about it from different places. We'll talk a little bit about your work with Project Give Back and Jacob's Ladder, but I have heard your story before, and every time I hear it, even now, it's just so beautiful and so heartwarming. It's so wonderful. And, I feel that Jacob is an example that, it takes one person to change this world and to make a difference and to really just bring so much light and love and kindness into this world. So thank you for sharing that. And, I'm sure he's looking down on you and your family, and so happy because you're doing such an amazing job with sharing, all of his lessons that he shared with you guys. So thank you.
Even
So
today, sorry, Arissa, even today
yeah,
during COVID,
yeah,
his messages are still loud and clear. One thing that Jacob loved was music. Music empowered him. He just felt music, and
yeah.
our lives were filled with music. And Sunday in our house was musical Sundays, and so many talented people came to sing to him.
Oh,
And there was a song developed because of him, and so much happened. But today, with during COVID, so many of families similar to ours, are pretty much trapped inside. They can't get out at all. Like, it's very dangerous. So we've taken our Sunday jams and put them online and made these Zoom jams, and we bring together all Jake's talented performers
wow.
from the special needs community. And each week more and more families are coming on to listen to the live music. It's just one of those little silver linings during a difficult time.
Yeah, that's amazing. And there are several silver linings, and I think that from what I know and from what you're telling me about Jacob, he would be the one, and he is the one still today, even though he's not with us, to really remind us that everything will be okay, and the power of positivity and just being okay with what we have and being grateful for what we have. So I definitely think that's something he would, and he is sharing with us today. So from your story, I know that you have taken that, experience, this life-changing experience, Jacob's life, and you've turned it into something so phenomenal. You have two organizations, one Project Give Back and the other one Jacob's Ladder. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about both of those?
Sure. First, how old are you? You're grade 7?
Eight. Grade 8.
8? Oh, God. You have an old soul.
Oh.
I know you did in grade 4 when we met you, but now, wow, talk about you. I mean, let's get away from Jake for just a minute, because part of our whole vision, I think a part of who he was, is he brought us together with the most incredible people, and kind, caring, big picture visionaries. And I think that's you, and you are just one of the results of people that have just grown so much out of your experiences. So I'm so thrilled to be able to do this and talk with you, years later. It's really fascinating. I can't wait to see where you are in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's very exciting.
Thank you so much for that. That just made my day. Thank you for that. So yeah, and I feel like, even Project Give Back has actually, even though it was like 4 years ago, I still remember every single lesson to this day. And I feel like, that experience and that initiative I was a part of really formed some of my beliefs and how I look at this world today. So maybe let's tell our viewers a little bit more about that, so that they can sort of get on the same page as us.
Okay. So am I choppy? Is it okay? My internet's been glitchy up here. I hope I'm okay. But
yeah, I think we're okay. We were cutting out a little bit, but I think it should be good.
Okay, good. So Project Give Back started when I was a classroom teacher. I taught for 20 years and loved teaching, but after Jacob was born and diagnosed and living with him, my whole view towards life changed, and so did my teaching. Because of course we need to learn the math, the English, the science. Everything we learn is so important. But to me, being a kind, good, caring person was the forefront of my teaching. So I built into my own curriculum Project Give Back. So each lesson had, the boomerangs, the logo, you throw out kindness,
Oh, I think, are you there? You froze.
Come back. So that was kind of the vision. Sorry, it's my internet. Are you okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. No worries.
All those lessons and pack them into my curriculum. So I felt, when I shared my story about Jacob, and often I used to share Jacob with the world. So went to my class.
Yeah.
So when I shared that, I saw the light bulb go off. With Jacob, it was all about acceptance and people's differences. But then everyone has their own story. So all the kids went and they researched the charity that they really cared about. And that's what they brought to the table. And as you know, you reached out to them, you researched, then you became the teacher and you taught all of us what mattered to you and why it mattered and how it was changing the world. And as a class, we all got to see the world through a very different lens. And we got to learn a lot about each other we never would have known about. And it's just looking at the world through a very different lens. What did you pick? Do you remember in grade 4?
Yes, I do remember. My charity is called Focus Humanitarian Assistance, and basically they support developing countries where there's severe natural disasters, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, all of those things. And I'll tell you, I still work with them today. I still raise money and raise awareness for them. And it was amazing learning about all their work. And I feel like Project Give Back totally helped me with that. So yeah.
That's fabulous. That's so
Yeah.
great to hear.
Yeah. So that was kind of how it started. Now, how is it developed? How is it evolved from that moment where you had that turning point, had that spark, had that realization, and where do you want to see it in the future, in 10 years, in 5 years?
So it's forever changing. You're right. But what I did was I interviewed and hired some very similar people to me, who I knew would just nail this in classrooms, just like people who really walk the walk, right? So, and they went into classrooms. I taught them the curriculum and they went into the classrooms, and then they brought in other people who they knew were like-minded as well. All of them are teachers. Mm-hmm. And we just class by class by class would grow. And this year we had 65 classes a week. And, over, I think there's over 1,200 charities now, which are being helped, or even just the awareness of it, but also in the ripple effects. Often these kids end up being their future philanthropists. So that's all changing, and we just keep growing organically. I never want to be in a school that doesn't love us and want us. And similarly, our host teachers, our classroom teachers, they have to love having us in their classroom, or else we don't want to be there.
Yeah.
We want to be like-minded people who really want to create a beautiful world of future philanthropists. And that's what, like you, that's what we're doing. That's our goal anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that example of, the ripple effect. And I often talk about this a lot in, with different things I do. Change makers, and we'll get into that a little bit more, are kind of like the rock that is thrown into the lake, and then you see those ripples and there's that change just from one action. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge thing. Look at Greta Thunberg or Malala Yousafzai. All of these different people just did something so simple, but the impact was amplified drastically. Like it was just
But even if it's one person, if you can put, and I tell these to my students all day, if you could put a smile on one person's face, that's it, one person, you've changed the world. You've made the world better. And like you said, it doesn't have to be something massive.
Yeah.
It can just be something really small.
Yeah.
And if you make someone else feel better, you're going to feel better. So it's just something easy and beautiful we can do.
Yeah, for sure. So Project Give Back, I'm so incredibly grateful to say that both my brother and I participated in this. And, it's just an absolutely phenomenal program. And I will, for everyone who's watching this on YouTube or on Instagram or wherever you're watching, I will put the links to Project Give Back's website and Instagram page down below, so you can check out all the incredible things that they are doing. So Ellen, do you want to tell me a little bit more about Jacob's Ladder and sort of what your work is with that and your goal for
Sure.
Jacob's Ladder too?
Of course. So after Jacob was diagnosed, we really didn't want anyone else to have to go through what we were going through. It was a really difficult time, especially when he was young and we were trying to make sense out of all of it. Mm-hmm. So I went to my local Starbucks and ordered my sugar-free vanilla lactose-free latte. And the barista there noticed me from the TV because Jacob at that point was part of a groundbreaking trial in the States. Wow. And we were all over the news. So they were trying to insert an enzyme that he was missing to try to slow down the progression of his disease. So she said, we want to help you. We want to help you. And I ran home to Jeff and just said, Starbucks wants to help us. And we figured, you know what, we want to be able to do something really good. So we started a charity called the Canadian Foundation for Control of Neurodegenerative Disease. And my brother said, you know, try writing that on a check. So he said, well, why don't we just call it Jacob's Ladder? Yeah. You know, with the tagline, climbing to a cure. Yeah. So we started this and, you know, we ran this for 20 years and it raised over $3 million towards research, education, awareness for not Jacob's disease, but neurodegenerative diseases. His was so rare, but we were able to give a lot of money to Sick Kids Hospital and have a prize there. It's called the Jacob's Ladder Prize for Genetics with our doctor, Norman Saunders. So we did that. We were able to fund a therapeutic pool. We were able to give respite and funding to young adults with special needs so they could go to programs after 21 when they are older and there are no programs for this age. Yeah. So we were able to screen all over Canada for free and hassle-free for 7 neurodegenerative diseases. So, you know, we have folded Jacob's Ladder since the loss of Jakey because that's something that we did together. Yeah. But the prize will go for 25 more years if there's enough money there, so it continues. And you know, people are funded and can do these programs. So the charity has halted, but the initiatives haven't.
Yeah, and the impact hasn't either.
No,
for sure. That's everlasting.
I hope so. I hope so. But, you know, Jacob loved to be around kids and he loved to be around music. And I just saw what happened to people if they got to know Jacob. So Project Give Back really is where I'm just pouring all my efforts because I saw the way people can be when they became kinder and just more aware and understanding.
Yeah. And I think that you touched on this earlier, you know, the textbook subjects are important, and I mean, like I advocate a lot for access to education in developing countries, so I know how important that is. But you know, from my experience and my journey to where I am today, I've learned how fundamental it is to also learn about, you know, how people, the environment, and you know, different things that are happening in the world, how to be kinder and just positive agents of change. And that's kind of a word I like to use. So yeah, I definitely think Project Give Back is kind of like a pivotal point for several students. And I know that, you know, some of my friends, we still talk about it. My friends from Allenby, we still chat about it. We still, I think I have the highlighter right there. So it's still a big part. Yeah.
I mean, if you're young, when you know what your passion is, whatever it is, and you follow that passion, you're never going to be disappointed, right? Like you've obviously found it. You're going to be a humanitarian. There's no doubt in my mind. You are changing the world.
Yeah.
But some people, it's with dance, and they'll do things with dance. Some people, you know, it allows some people. You know, we've had kids who have Tourette's, and they talk about their Tourette's. We've had children who have unfortunately faced and conquered cancer, and they talk about their experience with cancer. We have kids whose moms have cancer. We have kids whose fathers have or grandfathers have had heart attacks, or whatever it is, or if it's music, or they get to follow that passion and really make an impact. And as you say, a change maker, they get to make change. So that's really important.
Yeah, for sure. And so I think you also talked about the logo, and I love the logo of Project Give Back. So what does that kind of symbolize for you and for just the whole initiative in general?
So the logo is a boomerang with a star inside.
Mm-hmm.
And the boomerang is about throwing kindness out into the world and letting it, you know, it gets stronger and stronger, and a boomerang comes back to you. So the kindness comes back to your heart as well as someone else. And the star inside is, there's a star waiting to shine inside each one of us. And this hopefully will start to bring out that star.
Beautiful. I love it. I can't even think of a better logo to summarize everything you do for that. I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna move on to a bit some more questions. And so my first one for you is, I've heard, you know, over the time I've been a young person, a lot of my friends, my peers, saying that, Arissa, like, what can I do? How can I make a difference? I'm one person, like, I have no power. Like, why should I even try? Why should I, you know, even go and make a difference? Like, why do I need to do that? So what advice would you give to those people? What would you say to those people?
So nobody's one person, right? Like yes, I came up with Project Give Back, and yes, I've written the books, and yes, I was blessed to be the mother of Jacob, but it's a community, right? Like if you believe really strongly in something, you're going to find like-minded people who are going to climb on that wagon with you. I know you have. You went on this amazing family trip to India, and what you saw and what you experienced, and your family, I'm sure, is supporting you big time in your endeavors, plus your friends, plus whoever gets on the Arissa bandwagon. So I'm very lucky that have a beautiful community of family and friends who support us and who are there with us even I designed these bracelets. They're called the Jake Challenge bracelets. When we're up in North. When I'm back in Toronto, I'll get one to you. But
they're so pretty.
They follow Jacob's rules in life. But when I first started them, I called all my girlfriends together, and they, we would bead and bead and bead and bead. People really like to be part of something special. And sometimes you just have to be the one to say, hey, let's do this. And very often you'll get, okay, that sounds great.
I'll do it.
You believe in it. You got it. Put me in the positivity line any day of the week, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people who want to be in that line too.
Mm-hmm. Amazing advice. I'm definitely going to take that into everything that I do. And speaking of positivity, how have you, really held on to hope and to positivity, not just through, through your experience with Jacob and your story, but even during this time with COVID-19 and all of the struggles that the world is facing right now at this moment? How have you sort of seen the glass as half full, not half empty? How have you stick to that?
Well, honestly, I think Jacob really helped us to look at life in a very different way, right? Looking at the glass half empty isn't a choice. It's a terrible choice. So, because when you look at it half full, you see beautiful things. And there are so many beautiful silver linings to all of what's happening. You know, people like you, I'm looking at the young, you know, the young children who are becoming so resilient and so adaptable and so flexible and know how to deal with disappointment, right? They're losing everything they love right now, but they're just coming out on top, and they're learning, my life's moving forward. I'm doing okay. And I think that's really going to help them in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob kind of taught us that.
Mm-hmm.
So through adversity, I've learned how to be stronger and how to be resilient. And I think that most of us through adversity, we're going to learn that.
Yeah.
With me, it was, you know, I was smacked in the head. It was a tough lesson at first, but I figured it out. But I think you guys are going to do the same.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, also the importance of growth mindsets and sort of taking such a hard situation like this and any hard situation really and saying, okay, you know, I'm struggling now, but what can I learn from this? How can I grow from it? How can I take, you know, this time, find little lessons and take it into my life tomorrow or in the future? So I think that
we never learn when everything's going well. We don't learn anything.
Yeah.
We only learn when we fail, when we fall, or when we struggle. And we always come out on top. We're all survivors. We're all swimmers. Sinking isn't an option, right? So
I love that. I love that. So over here, with all of the work you have done, specifically with Project Give Back, have you ever been in a situation or in a time when you just were faced with someone or something who made you feel like you can't continue with your work, or you weren't good enough, or you didn't have any power? And what did you do about that, if so? And what advice would you give to people who may experience something like that in the future?
So that's a very good question. And I think all of us feel that. I think if we don't feel that, there's a problem, right? We all have to sink. And we all, you know, when Jake passed, a grief counselor she took grief and she said, grief is like puddle jumping, and you go from puddle to puddle to puddle, and sometimes you sink deep. But the important thing is you have to sink. You have to let yourself sink. And because there's something that's going to bring you out in the other end. And it's when you do sink, you just learn those powerful lessons and how to climb out. And you never forget those lessons. And every time you learn more and more, you become stronger and stronger and more resilient and more adaptable. And I think that it's okay to sink. It's actually okay to be humble. It's, you know, if you feel like you're always on top of the world, that's, I think, a very dangerous thing. You know, we have to be humbled all the time.
I love that. Yeah. And I couldn't say that even better than that. And I think that, you know, you said this earlier, but I feel that, you know, when we are facing struggles, there's always people who can support us, and we're not alone, and we're always in it together. So not only do we have to understand that, you know, we're not the best. No one's the best. We're all learning, we're all growing, and we're all together and you know, in this world together. So that's something I try.
Yeah, if you have help, if you can give help, you know, you ask for it. And, you know, if you can give other people help, you give it whenever you can. And I think that's what makes the circle go round. I mean, what I've learned is when you see somebody who's feeling low or in that state that you're talking about, probably the worst thing you could do is ask them what you can do. You know, if you say to them, what can I do to help? Because if you're feeling down, I'm sure you felt down before. If someone says, to you, what can I do to help? What's your answer going to be? What are you going to say? Nothing. Partly because you don't want to admit you need help. And the other part is when you're low, you don't know what you need. You have no idea. So anything you can do to help someone during that time is so going to be appreciative. It doesn't matter. And sometimes it's just an ear. It's not telling someone what to do. It's just being a listener.
Right?
For
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me several times, and I agree with you in that, we do, I feel like as society and just as human beings, we have a hard time admitting that we're weak, and we have a hard time showing weakness, and the fact that we actually need support at certain times. So I fall into those times, when I just don't want help, and I just think that, oh, people will, think that I'm not strong or something like that. But I feel, yeah.
I think if you can show that you are weak sometimes, that you show that you're vulnerable,
Hmm.
is a real sign of strength.
Yeah.
Because you're showing, I'm not putting an act on. This is me.
Yeah.
And like we've heard during this time many times, it's okay not to be okay.
Hmm.
As long as you know inside tomorrow, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not, then you have to seek help. You
Yeah.
really have to seek help, because there are people that know how to treat others who just have trouble climbing out of that hole.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, I've experienced that time and time and time again. As a parent, you're only as happy as your most unhappy child. So
Yeah.
when Jacob was so sick, I mean, it's devastating. It's hard to move forward when your child's struggling.
Hmm.
But we do, because we have to be strong, and there's no other choice.
Hmm.
So I think as people, we have that gift, although yes, we're going to go through tough times, and tough times are a gift, because it teaches us who we really are, and it teaches us how strong we really are.
Hmm. For sure. And I think you mentioned this earlier as well. And we need to show weakness, and showing weakness is a strength, and being yourself is a strength. So, what
Yeah.
advice would you give people who are having a hard time being their self in the world right now with everything happening? What advice would you give to them?
It's so hard at your age. Like, it's so hard when you're, you know,
Yeah,
14, 15 to 18, struggling with identity, with
yeah,
who are you,
yeah,
and finding your way,
yeah.
because peer pressure is so strong, and it's so hard to be uniquely you.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a while to realize that the only person that people are going to love is when you are you. And sometimes it takes heartache to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
And you may, fizzle out who your friends are and who your new friends are. And, as I'm sure you imagine, it's
Yeah,
forever changing.
yeah.
But every single person is born unique and different. And that's what makes our world so amazing. So I think we have to embrace those differences and respect those differences and learn from one each other, and celebrate one another.
Yeah.
You have that gift. Many people at your age, they don't celebrate themselves. They just want to be like, they want to fit in.
Yeah.
And my friend Dan always says, you weren't meant to fit in, you were meant to stand out. We were all meant to stand out. And you found your way, and other people hopefully will as well.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I often return to the saying that, what would this world be like if we all thought the same way? We wouldn't have any of these amazing places. We wouldn't have any amazing organizations like yours. We would just not, we would like live in a really, really boring society, and like it would just be a really boring world. So I definitely, I think that diversity is, I think there's a quote, I can't remember it right now, but diversity is probably, one of the hardest things to accept in the world, but also one of the most dangerous things to live without. So I think that's a quote. I can't remember who it was now.
That's a
Uh,
good one.
yeah,
But you're right. It's that's what makes us all so beautiful.
yeah,
Is our differences.
for sure.
So
Um,
yeah.
so I'm gonna sort of transition a little bit to some more questions. So this year, I'm not sure if you probably know about the United Nations, of course, I'm sure, right? Yeah. So this year, the UN is celebrating its 75th anniversary. And one of the things that they're doing is they've created a survey. It's like a 1-minute survey, and like they want the whole world to do it. All people, doesn't matter who you are, your background, your age, your religion, your just everyone basically. So and the main question, or the main like thing that they're looking for is what would you like to see happen in the world, or what would you like the world to look like by 2030? So I'm curious to know what is one thing you would like to see happen by 2030?
I just like to see everyone kinder. I would like to see everyone more compassionate to one another and understanding of one another's needs, and just more empathy in the world. There's a lot of hate, and I would just love to see more love. I would love to see love everywhere, because that's what Jacob, that's all he was. I think that hate is something that's learned. I don't think we were born hating. And I just can't understand why so many people do.
Yeah.
So that's what, if I could make a shift, I would get rid of all the hate.
Yeah.
Just feed it with love, and that would be my thing.
Yeah. And how do we do that? What can we do? What do you think we as humans?
That gets back to Project Give Back. I think it's learning and education and understanding this person acts this way because of this reason. And just to see learning from all sides and all people and all views, so we can have an understanding. And I think that's really important. And I think that's all we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think education is something, a place where, we can learn and grow and equalize. It's a great equalizer. And I think that it's kind of the middle ground for everything. And we learn how to be better humans. And I think adding something like Project Give Back to the curriculum is exactly what we need. So yeah, it's
if you become a teacher, you're hired one day.
Oh, we'll see. I'm not sure. We'll see where I am in 20 years.
You're already an ambassador. I love it. Great.
Thank you. Thank you. So what, if you could go back in time, what is one thing you would tell your younger self? What is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Oh, boy.
It's a bit of a tough one.
Yeah, what would I give to my younger self? Probably what we talked about earlier. Be you. Just be you. Because you're so good at it.
Yeah.
Right? When I was your age, I tried to fit in. I tried to be like everyone else, and I failed constantly because I didn't have the confidence to be myself. And that would probably be it. Took me a while to find my voice, and you already have yours, but it took me a lot longer to find mine. So yeah, just be you. No one else is better qualified. There's a quote of that. I can't remember who said it, but be yourself. No one else is qualified.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So you were talking about confidence. Now, I know that, especially at my age, this is another thing that people struggle with. So where do you think we can find, confidence? How do you think we can grow confidence, self-confidence, and just, confidence when you're looking at the world around you? How do you think we can develop that?
I think finding a sport or an art that you can master, or that you can become really good at, helps build your uniqueness and helps build your confidence. So for my daughter, for instance, she was a swimmer, a very high level swimmer, in the training and discipline and everything that goes into swimming. And my son, it was with hockey. He's a great hockey player. He loves the sports. He worked on the sport, and if you find that thing, whatever it is, whether it's music or being an artist, or that really builds confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then so much goes along with it. And that would be my find your passion and just work it, because everybody can be skilled at something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know that you're, oh my gosh, I'm the best tennis player in that room, when you just feel really good, it's just something that that you're really good at.
Mm-hmm.
And we can
Yeah.
all be really good at something.
Yeah. Yeah, we all have that one thing or those little things that
Yeah.
were really amazing
Yeah.
with. So yeah, for sure. Um, so another question I have for you is, I know Jacob is probably your number one inspiration, but where else do you find inspiration in the world?
My kids.
Your kids.
My kids.
Yeah.
My family. I'm very blessed with incredible parents and two brothers. I'm sandwiched in between two brothers that I adore and look up to, and love them. For me, it's all about love. It's all about being with people you love and you adore, and people who love you and support you, and picking people up and allowing others to pick you up who you're comfortable with. So those are the people who inspire me. Of course, I have my heroes, my sports heroes. I think Oprah Winfrey is phenomenal human being. Yes, I have my big, my big heroes, but for me, it's just the people around me, the people I love and choose to be around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the people who we are around, they're such a huge part of our life and who we become, and they get to experience who, as we grow, how we develop and change and evolve as global citizens. And I think that's from that inspiration and love, like you talk about, does really foster in that situation. So I definitely agree. And yeah, I mean, I have some big inspirations as well, big heroes. But
who are your heroes?
My heroes? Okay, so first, Malala is definitely a big one in my life.
Incredible.
I mean, I don't know, she's just such a star. I like to call people stars because they feel like light is something that can be shined so bright, and she shines so much light into this world. And she's just an incredible voice, and she's been a very a person who I can look up to and say, if she can do it, I can do it too. And I've also done a bunch of work. You probably know like the We charity, the We Foundation, and Me to We. So, I run the social justice club at my school, and so Craig and Mark Kilberger are also big inspirations. Greta Thunberg, I'm really passionate about climate justice as well. But to be honest with you, people like you, who I get to chat with and get to know and really get to learn like lessons from, inspire me the most. Because like those big heroes I learn about from what I see on the internet or in books or stuff like that, but the people who I get to interact with inspire me the most. Watching, again, I'm gonna put all of Ellen's links in the description below, so definitely check out all the incredible work she's doing. And yeah,
check out the song. Have you heard the song that was written for Jakey, with Jakey?
No.
So check
really?
out.
Is it on Project Give Back website or?
No. If you go to YouTube, check out. Well, I'll tell you with the slideshow, because the slideshow is really nice. So it's PGB I Rise Above.
PGB. I'm just gonna write that down. Okay. I will put the link in the description.
PGB I Rise Above.
PGB.
Yeah, but I think you'll love it. It was, if they could speak, these are the words he would say. And it was written and sung with a lot of his musical friends.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited to hear about that. I'm definitely going to go check it out right after this. And yeah, I'm going to put the link in the description below for everyone watching as well. So,
okay, perfect.
Ellen, I wish you all the best. Stay safe during this time, and I hope to connect with you again soon. Thank you for inspiring me. So,
Ah,
yeah.
you're awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, Ellen is just such an inspiration, and Jacob is as well. Everyone, again, I'm going to put all of the links and information right below, so definitely go check out all of Project Give Back's work. You can listen to Jacob's song too. I'll put it right below as well. But from me to you, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time, and I hope this inspires you to go out and be that rock and create so many ripple effects. All right, everyone, well, have a great day. Bye.